Even if you're using a tool like Microsoft Outlook to email your students, it's not a bad idea to get familiar with the email tool in D2L. It's fast, it's simple, and it can be very handy. Here I am in a D2L class, and I can get to the email tool by selecting the email link at the top of the page. This opens up the Compose New Message window. From here I can enter my students' email addresses in the To field, the Carbon Copy field, or the Blind Carbon Copy field. I can add a subject line, and I can add the message itself. Notice that I have some formatting control, and if I click Advanced, I have even more options. I can add images, I can add links, I can change the way the font looks. I can also add attachments by choosing the Choose File button. The first thing I want to do is add my students. So I'm going to put them in the Blind Carbon Copy field so they don't see each other's email addresses when I send the message. Now I could type them in and put a semicolon in between each one, but I'm going to save myself some time by grabbing them out of the address book. So I click the address book. This shows me a list of all the students in my class. Now the students are displayed 20 per page, and there's more than 20 students in my class, so there are multiple pages. If I click the little right arrow, it takes me to the second page. Click the left arrow, it takes me back. So I'm going to add all of the students on this page to the Blind Carbon Copy field by selecting the checkbox at the top of the column and selecting the BCC link. Now you don't see all of the email addresses because the field isn't long enough, but they're all there. Now I go to the second page and I repeat the process. Select the checkbox, select BCC, and those email addresses are appended to the end of the list. Now I could have saved myself some clicks by changing the 20 per page to 200 per page, and that would show me all of my students in my class because I have fewer than 200 students. I could then select them all at once and put them in the Blind Carbon Copy field. This works great if you have fewer than 200 students. If you have more, you're going to have to go page by page, which is one of the shortcomings of the D2L email tool. It doesn't use a distribution list. You actually have to pick each one of your students and move those students into the recipients list. Now once I've done this, I can click the Add Recipients button. This takes me back to the Compose New Message window, and all of my student email addresses are added. I can now type in my subject, type my message, and click Send. And that's really all there is to it. Before I leave this page, I want to just show you one of the settings. You can get to your email settings from here. This is on by default. Send a copy of each outgoing message to yourself. It's a great option when you're sending an email message to an individual student or to groups of students. You want to keep a copy of those messages for your records. If you're sending a message to the entire class list, that's going to include you, and so you'll get a copy of those messages. Now another way you can email your students is through the class list. So I'm going to jump to the class list. Now I'm still displaying 200 per page, so I'm seeing all of my students now. I select them all by clicking the checkbox at the top of the column, and then I go to the Compose New Email Message window by selecting this envelope icon. Now notice that this puts everybody's email address in the To field. I could cut and paste those into the BCC field if I needed. I add my message, I click Send. It's as simple as that.